portion of the show where we examine those three little words that men find so hard to say.
I don't know.
That's true, eh? Okay. Today's letter goes as follows. Dear expert.
La la la.
I am 9 years old, and all my friends say that Santa Claus does not exist. Is this true, or does he actually exist?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen the real Santa Claus. I mean, a jolly, obese guy with a white beard pretty much describes every lodge member.
Well, Santa's not really obese, Red. He's just overweight. They eat a lot of blubber up there at the North Pole, you know. And it's not just loaded with unsaturated fat, it is unsaturated fat.
Oh, you've actually met Santa Claus, Mr. Shaughnessy?
Well, no, to say I met him would be pushing it.
And when Hap starts pushing it, we end up shoveling it.
This viewer's asked a specific question. I think if we could answer it, we should.
Well, you know I don't like to exaggerate. But my run-in with Santa saved the world from nuclear annihilation.
You asked for this.
It was Christmas Eve, 1963. We were holding at our fail-safe points when word came from the Pentagon that an unidentified aircraft was approaching from the north. They figured it was the leading edge of a massive Russian attack, and we proceeded towards our targets inside the Soviet Union, while NORAD got ready to shoot their plane down. Well, when we opened the bomb bay doors, we could see that actually it was Santa in his sleigh.
Any alcohol served on that flight?
You know, Harold, a lot of this stuff is classified information. I may have said too much already.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, well, I would say to this viewer that sometimes you just have to believe. Even though that may be difficult. But I'll tell you this much, I believe in Santa Claus.
I believe in Santa.
I believe in Santa more than I believe in Hap.
Welcome to the experts portion of the show, where we examine those three little words that men find so hard to say. Okay, excellent. Joining me, Uncle Red, on the expert portion of the show today is his best friend in the whole wide room, water taxi captain, Hap Shaughnessy. We have a viewer in Georgia who asks, dear expert, I'm a bit self-conscious about my height. I'm not short, just vertically challenged. Recently, I read that astronauts actually grow in space by as much as an inch. Is that true? And if so, how can I get into space?
Oh, no, I don't think people grow in space. I met that William Shatner, and he's hardly tall at all.
Well, actually, Red, most people do grow in zero gravity. I don't, but most people do.
You're in space, were you, Hap?
Oh, well, no. Space starts at about 90 miles up. I only flew 88 miles up.
And what were you flying in?
A cape.
A cape? Like Superman, huh?
No, not like Superman. Mine was white.
You know, this is a bit of a stretch even for you, I'm finding.
Well, I was with the local circus, Hap the Human Cannonball. We were performing in Port Asbestos, and just as I waved goodbye, I slid down the tube, a bolt of lightning hit the cannon, and boom! The blast was so strong and the wind was so powerful, all my clothes were torn off. I was totally naked. Luckily, I was 88 miles up, so no one could see. Did you know Australia is in the shape of a dog's head?
You know, not too much air up there, I wouldn't think. You know, I know the airplanes fly at 4 or 5 miles up only, and they have to actually pressurize the cabins so that people can breathe.
Yeah. Air is very, very thin up there.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, I was traveling so fast, I just opened my mouth and scooped enough oxygen in to keep my consciousness.
Yeah.
My real worry was the landing. I mean, I'm 88 miles up, eh? Going a mile a second, speeding head first towards Earth.
Well, yeah. I guess the impact would, pretty much lose whatever height you gained.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky, Harold. I blacked out so I didn't tense up for the landing.
Oh.
When I came to, I was just outside of town on top of a haystack, buck naked.
Wow, excellent. Naked.
You buy that story, Harold?
Not really, no.
You know what? Neither did his ex-wife.
The expert portion of the show. And on this week's expert portion of the show, we have two experts, one being my Uncle Red, and of course, the other being water taxi captain Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. This week's letter goes as follows. Dear experts, what is the greatest rock and roll band ever? Easy, REM.
No, Harold. I'll tell you, the greatest band ever, Canadian band, the Guess Who.
I don't know who.
Now, personally, I'd have picked the Rolling Stones, but since I was once part of their band, I guess the Stones shouldn't count.
Part of the band, would you do chauffeur them around once, or?
No. Played lead guitar for a few months. When Keith Richards was too ill, with his...
Didn't the age difference get in the way at all, Mr. Shaughnessy?
No, they weren't that much older than me.
Oh.
Then afterwards, when Keith would go up to his room, I'd have to take care of all those women who wanted to meet him. The gropies. That was a good job, though. $350 a night. I tell you, I would have paid him twice that much.
Oh, wait a minute. What have we got here? Oh, for gosh sakes, guitar. There you go, Hap. Play us a little Rolling Stones music.
Are you trying to embarrass me in front of my fans, Red?
No, just trying to get a little satisfaction.
And now it's that part of the show where we expose the three little words that men find so hard to say. I don't know. And here now is the expert, my Uncle Red, and of course, his good friend, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy, local fisherman and raconteur. Alrighty. Dear experts, there's a guy at work that drives us all crazy. Whenever he tells you something, it's so full of lies and exaggerations that you can't believe any of it. What's with this guy?
Well, Hap, this sounds like it's more in your area.
Well, it's a self-confidence problem, isn't it? People who stretch the truth, generally trying to make themselves more important than they really are, just to make up for their poor self-image.
Well, that's very insightful.
Yeah, that's what Sigmund Freud told me. What's the very worst bragger and boaster that I ever met was on one of our climbs up Everest. We had 7 attempts. All of them were successful. But you should have heard this guy and the stories that came out of his mouth. Space expedition, running the 2-minute mile, playing billiards with the Pope. I happen to know the Pope only plays stripes and solids. But this guy got to me so much, I had to leave the tent. I had to get out of there and sleep on the glacier. Better to risk another encounter with the abominable snowman than spend any more time with this man.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from there, Hap.
But of course, I didn't expect the avalanche. 350,000 tons of snow cleaved off that mountain and landed right on my knee. The bad knee. Well, I wanted to scream, but some of the crew was still sleeping, so I quietly just tried to dig myself out of bed. And after a few hours, I came upon this guy, this same guy, lying there unconscious, his head stuck in an ice crevice, and I had a 7-pound pick with me, and I could have chipped him out. But I couldn't guarantee he'd still have ears.
Right now, I would envy someone without ears.
Yeah. So, I tried this little trick that I learned during the war from de Gaulle. I melted the guy out of there. With a pot of hot coffee and a turkey baster.
And how about your self-confidence, Hap? You think you have a poor self-image?
Used to. Before I was knighted.
Don't ask him, Harold.
The expert portion of the show. That part of the show where we examine those three little words that men find so hard to say. I don't know. That was great. Okay. Joining my Uncle Red in the expert portion of the show today is his best friend in the whole wide room, water taxi captain, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. Okay, our letter is from Maryland. Ah, excellent. All right. Dear experts, la la la. My doctor has ordered me to get some exercise, but I'm not really into sports. Yeah. Is there something simple I could start with to build up my stamina and muscle strength before I attempt a more rugged sport like hacky sack? Well, actually, no, that's a very good question. Perhaps you'd like to go on maybe the same fitness program as my Uncle Red. Unless, of course, you're allergic to beer.
I would suggest this viewer get one of those exercise machines. What do you call them? The one with the handles and you sit on them.
The knotless machine.
No. The one with the wheels and the chain. You know, the motorcycle. You should try motorcycle jumping. It starts you out easy enough by only exercising your wrists, and you learn to develop your sense of balance. And if anything goes wrong, it gives your whole body a relaxing asphalt massage.
So you were a motorcycle stunt jumper then, were you, Mr. Shaughnessy?
You never heard of Odyssey Shaughnessy? I had a 1,200 horsepower Norton. It had 7 gears.
And he's giving us all of them right now.
Yeah, I was the best. I was all set to jump over the fountain at Caesar's Palace. This was long before Evel Knievel. I had the networks all lined up to cover it, but I backed out at the last few minutes on the insistence of the girlfriend.
Oh, well, I'm sure she was just, afraid for you.
Nah, more for herself, Harold. She was in the sidecar.
And now it's that time of the show where we expose the three little words men find so hard to say, I don't know. And here in expert section today, of course, is my Uncle Red and Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. Dear experts, I do not consider myself a stupid person, such as, say, my brother, but try as I might, I do not understand Einstein's theories of relativity. Well, you know, Einstein said there were only 3 people who could understand relativity.
Really? Wonder who the other one is.
You understand relativity, Hap?
Just the stuff I worked on.
Oh, you worked with Einstein, did you?
Yeah, well, when he started out, I gave him a hand with his relativity.
But Einstein worked on relativity when he was really young.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mind giving the kid a hand. He had some good ideas. They were rough, but good.
Excuse me, Mr. Shaughnessy, but I still don't understand how it is that, Einstein is younger than you.
Was, Harold, was. I worked a lot faster than Albert, that's all. Much, much faster, so we aged at different rates.
Oh, that's possible. I just all of a sudden felt a little older myself right there.
Well, there you go, Red. You'd have to be that third person that Albert was talking about. You'd understand that time and space is relative and subjective.
Yeah, and I'm learning that so is the truth.
Welcome to the expert portion of the show. On this week's expert portion of the show, we have 2 experts, my Uncle Red and his good friend, water taxi captain, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. And this week's letter goes as follows. Oh, cool. It's got a nautical theme. He's a thing. All right, dear experts, how can I help protect the whales?
Oh, man, all right. So I gotta tell you something, okay? I don't get this. I hear a lot about this lately. Okay, you got an animal here. This thing's 100 feet long, all right? Weighs about 1,000 tons. Now, if this thing can't take care of itself, really, I don't know what I can do for them, you know?
No, Red, Harold is talking about whaling.
Oh.
You know, we gotta agree to stop killing the whales.
Oh, all right, fine. All right, the next time I see a whale in Possum Lake, I'm just gonna back right off. And I'll tell you what else, I'll speak to Bernice and get her and her friends to just ease off on the whaling activities.
Uncle Red, just because nobody you know is killing whales doesn't mean it's not happening. You can't assume things aren't happening just because lodge members don't do it.
Yeah. I guess I'm the fella you were looking for, Harold. I was a whaler at one time. Never a professional, not like them big Japanese ships, you know. I was more of a sport whaler. I went out in the canoe, you know. A 20-footer, a big one.
Yeah, sounds like a big one.
Mr. Shaughnessy, how'd you get one of those big harpoon guns in a canoe?
A harpoon gun, Harold? No, where's the sport in that? No. I just wrap a rope around myself and I'd dive in, I'd grab onto his tail and I'd hang on and I'd wear him down. It was a battle of endurance, me against the whale. It wasn't easy. Did you ever see the tails on those things? They're incredible.
Well, incredible tales be right up your alley, I would think.
Oh, Mr. Shaughnessy, how long did it take you to wear this whale down?
10, 20 months. Me out there thrashing around, hanging on for a year or more. I tell you, began to hate the taste of seafood. All except the stingray, you know, their little toes are a delicacy. But that whale would collapse and I'd tow it into shore and all the people in that village would have enough blubber for the year.
Oh, Mr. Shaughnessy, that is a lot of blubber.
Yeah, I gave it up after I tried to do battle with the great white whale Moby Richard.
I think you mean Moby Dick.
No, I didn't know him that well.
It's now time to feature those three little words that men find so hard to say.
I don't know!
Okay. Now, and to join my Uncle Red on the expert portion of the program is his best friend in the whole wide room, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. Dear experts, is it true that basketball was invented by a Canadian?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely true. Basketball was invented by a Canadian, but he was living in the United States at the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was in the States. But I didn't give up my Canadian citizenship. No, I was down there doing some hush-hush work for the CIA, as was then known as Teddy's Rough Riders. They wanted me to come up with some sort of cover story as to what I did for a living, and I said, sports inventor. And to make the cover a bit more convincing, of course, wouldn't you know, I had to invent a sport. I sure didn't expect that darn game to catch on.
Hap, you don't expect us to believe that, do you?
Well...
Huh?
You got me there. No, that wasn't true. No, I sure did expect that darn game to catch on.
Mr. Shaughnessy, out of all the history books I've ever read, all of them, they say the Canadian was Mr. James Naismith.
James Naismith. Yeah, that was my CIA cover name.
Funny you never mentioned that, Hap. You know, it's not like you to hold back.
Well, I know, Red, but all my spy work was top secret, you know. The only reason I can mention this now is because Franco is dead. And Spain is no longer a threat to world peace.
I'm finding this very hard to believe.
That's because you're listening.
I'm telling you, I invented basketball.
Oh, yeah. Hoop dreams.
No. Maybe Hap's right. Remember that time he was up on the Drunk and Disorderly? Huh? Dribbling all over the court?
Welcome to the experts portion of the program where we address those three little words that men find so hard to say. I don't know. Okay, and here's today's letter. Dear experts, I'm thinking about having my body cryogenically frozen at my death so that I might be revived in the exciting world of the future. What do you think?
Oh, don't do it. I mean, you're going to wake up with an ice cream headache and knock your socks off.
It's not that bad.
You've had your head frozen, Hap?
You know, that would explain a lot.
No, we dabbled in cryogenics when I was at Harvard.
Hap, if you went to Harvard, I went to Yale.
So did I.
I said Yale, not jail.
No, I didn't go to Harvard. I was there as a consultant on cryogenics. Walt Disney was funding the project, and he wanted me in on it. Yeah?
Sir, Hap, are you telling us that Walt Disney was a personal friend of yours?
No, more like a business partner. I was the one who convinced him to go to 4 fingers instead of 5 on all of his cartoon characters. Cut his cost by 20%. Walt was one of the first to try cryogenics. Nobody knows where the body is.
Oh, yeah, he's at Port Asbestos Arena, Disney on Ice.
I'm not sure if I understand what cryogenics is.
Oh, don't encourage him, Mike, please.
They stop your heart, and then they immerse you in liquid nitrogen, and then in the future, they bring you back to life and fix whatever's wrong with you.
Yeah, like, say, freezer burn.
So, would you advise that it would be a good thing for this viewer?
Well, nobody's ever done it, so we don't have any results. Could be risky.
Oh, for sure. Like a couple years ago, old man Sedgwick had his assets frozen. Now he walks with a limp.
So, I would advise that this viewer should proceed with extreme caution.
Oh, you're right there, Mike. And it's also, you know, best to let some things lie.
That's what we do with Hap.
That's right.
Well, once again, it's that part of the show where we examine those three little words that men find so difficult to say. I don't know. Okay. All right. Joining my Uncle Red in the expert portion of the program today is his best friend, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. Okay. Okay, dear experts. I am a student at a high school in a faraway place, not near Possum Lake. Unlike your handsome nephew, Harold, I am having trouble at school with bullies. What can I do about this? Signed, Ivan Ivanovich.
Well, Ivan, you may not be as handsome as Harold here, but you know, you have exactly the same handwriting.
That's odd.
Okay, Ivan.
Ivan, you know.
All right. Ivan, the best way to deal with bullies is go out there and learn yourself one of them self-defense things, like they got the judo, and I believe they have the taekwondo.
Yeah. The Faso Latido.
Pardon me, Hap?
Faso Latido. It's that martial arts technique that I developed when I was Dwight Eisenhower's bodyguard.
I never heard of Faso Latido.
I sang it a few times.
Well, I only taught it to a few people. It's a technique that combines karate, judo, ninja, and rhythmic gymnastics.
Rhythmic gymnastics, isn't that the thing where you do the gymnastics and you got the rubber ball and the baton and you wave all them big ribbons around?
That's the one. I got a silver for that in the '52 Olympics.
I thought rhythmic gymnastics was a female competition.
I know. I snuck in with the Russian women.